Okay, only in the year 2000 it was given. It is called the Antarctic Ocean. Southern Ocean comprises of the three most major oceans, okay, the southern part, like we have seen the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean and Indian Ocean. All these three oceans, they go and combine the Southern Ocean or the South Atlantic Ocean. So it is the you can say that Southern Ocean comprises the southernmost part of the three major oceans like the Pacific, Atlantic and the Indian Ocean. So with this we finish the 5 important oceans of the world: Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Arctic and Southern Ocean, and we have learned the different features of each ocean and how they are, and the deepest points of each ocean, and how some oceans are used as a means of communication and travel and economy for the countries. Okay. So water bodies, these are the major water bodies of the world which comprises major portion of the earth. So this was the large water bodies. Now let's see the next water body, which is the sea. Okay. All right. Now when you talk about sea, sea water is salty and the term used is saline. Okay. It's a large body of saline water that may be connected to the ocean. Okay. Now again, seas also go and meet the ocean. Okay. They are all interconnected. So they are smaller than ocean. When you compare an ocean with sea, we find that it is smaller in size than the ocean, and the water is shallower near the continents, okay, near the continental shelf or the continental margins, and the water which is close to the continental margins are known as marginal seas. All right, and these are the areas or the zones which are mostly affected by the human activities. Okay, the pollution and all the other things that is done by the activities of human beings is mostly in the marginal zone of the seas, and some seas cut off from the major seas by an island. Okay, and such seas go and form peninsulas, and the water is quite shallow in these zones, okay, of peninsula, and they are again the most affected regions of the water, most affected parts of the water bodies. Now there are certain seas that you see, like this is too small, I can't show you exactly. Certain seas which are completely encircled by land masses. Okay, now example of such seas are the Arial Sea, which is in Asia, and the Dead Sea, okay, of Europe. These are completely surrounded by land masses. And the marginal seas which are close to the continents are the Arabian Sea, which is close to our own country. Okay, we see the Arabian Sea here, then the Bering Sea, Black Sea and Mediterranean Sea of Africa. You will see that all these are very close, entering certain parts very close to the marginal areas, continental shelves. So here the water is quite shallow, okay, and lot of activities are taken place in this region. Okay. So these are the features of a sea. The most important is that sea water is salty and saline, and it is smaller than compared to the oceans, but they are all interconnected. The sea water also goes and joins the ocean. And which portion of the sea water is shallow? The marginal zones or the continental margins closer to the continents. Okay, so next one, we will see another water body which is the river. Okay. Now, many of us have seen river, we have played in the river water, and we are very much acquainted with river waters. We have seen the flow of the river water. Okay. Now, when you talk about river, every state has many rivers flowing, and ultimately these rivers go and join a sea, that we all know. Okay. So, what is a river? If you have to define a river, again river is a channel of water flowing from highland to lowland. Okay. When does the water flow? If I drop a glass of water on the table, do you think it will flow? The flow will be very slow. Okay. Now, if I take a glass of water or a bottle of water and I drop it down, you see that the flow of the water will be quite fast, because it is flowing from a high level to a lower level. So, rivers water also flows from a highland to a lowland and finally goes into the seas and lakes. Now, we have many small rivers which go and join the big rivers. Okay. And the place where these rivers go and join the big river is the mouth. Okay. And we can say where the river ends. Okay. The small river, the tributaries which join the main river, and the main river which goes and joins into the sea, the point where the river and the sea meet, that is a mouth, and that is the area where many deltas form. Okay. In the previous class, when we were studying about landforms, we had come across a word, Greek word delta, which is a triangular shaped land mass, where this kind of land masses are formed when the river enters the sea. All right. Now, when we talk about river, the river flows in 3 stages. Okay. And I am going to draw and show you the 3 stages of flow of river. Okay. Suppose this is the river. First stage, second stage, and this is going and forming, this is the sea. First stage, second stage, and the third stage. Flow of river. All right. Now, in the first stage, we can say it's the upper course. And the second stage we can say is the middle course. And the third stage we can say the lower stage. Lower course. Okay. Now, let us see, okay, what happens in the upper stage. In the upper stage, we see that the river is on the mountain, okay. It remains on the mountains and the river flows very swiftly. As I was just explaining to you about the flow of water, if I pour it on a leveled surface, the flow of the water is slow, but as I pour it from a height, the water flows down with great speed. So, in the upper stage of the river, we find that the river is still on the mountain and it is flowing with great speed, and here it deepens the valleys where it flows. Okay, so because of the swiftness of the flow of the river, the valleys are widen up. Okay. Now, in the middle course, here we find that it enters the plains and the valleys. Okay. So, it entering the plain, So we find the flow of the river slows down here, all right, and the river enters plains, and the speed is decreased because the slope is gentle over here, okay, not like how it was in the first stage. And in this middle stage we find it starts depositing all the alluvium or the silt that it carries in the upper stage of the flow of the river and starts depositing here, and it follows different pattern of flow, okay, and zigzag forms. The flow of the river is not straight anymore, and it can form meanders, it can form oxbow lake, okay, these are different features of the river, okay, different patterns of the river which flows and in the middle stage and makes this kind of zigzag pattern or course of the river. And in the last stage, okay, when the river reaches the last stage, we find that the river meets the ocean or the sea, okay. Here is a place where it goes and finally meets the ocean or the sea here, and it forms delta. Again, delta is what? Triangular shape of a land mass which is created when the river meets the sea and leaves all the silt and clay, forming a delta pattern, okay. The land is almost flat, so river barely moves anymore, all right, in the last stage, and it divides itself into distributaries, okay, small channels of water, and deposits all the fine silt that it carries from the mountain, okay. Now one of the most fertile alluvium, or sorry, we can say that one of the most fertile delta, okay, in the previous class I had told you about the Ganga Brahmaputra delta, okay. This is the most fertile and largest delta which is formed in the third stage of river with lot of alluvium and fertile soil for the farmers to grow crops here, and lot of cultivation is done in this area, okay, and it is one of the world's largest delta formed in the third course of river, okay. So let's revise the three course of river. The upper course, the river is still on the mountains, the flow of the water is very swift, okay, and the origin of the rivers is from the glacier and snow capped mountains. Then in the middle course, because it enters the plain area, the speed lessens down, and in third is hardly any movement. Most of the activity that is here is depositional activity as it is going and meeting the sea or ocean, okay. Now when we talk about river has witnessed to the rise and fall of many civilizations. If you go back to history, we find lot of civilizations established on the river banks, okay. Why? Because river provides ideal ground for habitation, and they also provide humus and very fertile soil for the cultivation of crops, and also for the water for the domestic purposes, okay. River banks and river plants have been most densely populated parts of the earth, okay. If you go back to history, when we see about the civilizations, in the Indus Valley civilization also we find the first civilization which came and settled was along the river Indus, okay, because of the availability of water, the good soil, and most of the needs were being fulfilled by the river water. And the major rivers of the world, if you see in your atlas, you will find like rivers St. Lawrence, Mississippi and Mackenzie of North America, okay. If you see in your physical map, you will find all these rivers like Mackenzie, St. Lawrence and Mississippi, and also Nile and Zaire,